In the year 356 BCE, beneath the skies of Pella, Macedonia, a storm raged. On that same night, the great temple of Artemis at Ephesus burned to the ground. The priests called it an omen. The gods, they said, were too distracted by the birth of a child to save their own sanctuary. That child was Alexander. They say a storm rose in the heavens the night Alexander was born. And in faraway Ephesus, the temple of Artemis, one of the wonders of the world, burned to the ground. The priests said the gods were too busy watching a child be born. A child destined to reshape the world. His mother, Olympias, whispered to him, "You are the son of Zeus." His father, King Philip II, ruled with steel and vision. And in the heart of this storm, a boy was born with the fire of kings and the madness of gods. At 13, Aristotle became his teacher, not just in books, but in conquest. He taught Alexander how to think like a philosopher and rule like a god. From Aristotle's lips and Homer's pages, Alexander found his hero, Achilles. And then, he found Bucephalus, a wild horse feared by all. Only the boy saw what others couldn't. The horse wasn't wild, just misunderstood. He turned it toward the sun and rode into legend. At 16, he crushed a rebellion in Thrace. At 18, he led cavalry at Chaeronea, smashing the Theban sacred band. And at 20, his father was assassinated, and he became king. Greece stirred with revolt. Alexander didn't ask for loyalty, he took it. He destroyed Thebes, left only temples and ash. By winter, Greece was unified. And across the sea, the Persian Empire awaited. The world invaded. In 334 BCE, Alexander crossed into Asia with 30,000 men. On Asian soil, he laid a wreath on Achilles' tomb and whispered, "You lived your legend. Now I will live mine." At Granicus, he fought uphill through a river into a wall of swords and survived. He freed Greek cities, inspired loyalty through respect, or demanded it through fear. At Gordium, he faced the ancient prophecy, a knot no man could untie. Alexander didn't try. He slashed it apart and said, "It doesn't matter how, only that it is done." The world began to tremble. Halicarnassus resisted with Persian walls and Greek cunning. He leveled it. Tyre laughed behind its sea walls. He built a road across the ocean. 7 months later, it burned, and 2,000 defenders hung on crosses. In Egypt, they didn't resist. They rejoiced. They crowned him Pharaoh, called him son of Amun. He founded Alexandria, the city that would outlive him. And deep in the desert, the oracle at Siwa confirmed, "You are divine." In 331 BCE, Alexander faced Darius III again at Gaugamela, outnumbered 5-1. Elephants, chariots, scythed wheels. Alexander flanked, split, and stormed the center. Darius ran. Persia fell, not to numbers, but to genius. He entered Babylon as a god, sat on the throne of Persepolis, burned the palace of Xerxes, then wept. But power twists even the strongest. In Susa, he demanded proskynesis, the bow of a god. His Greeks refused. He murdered Clytus, the man who had once saved his life. He married Roxana, a Bactrian noblewoman, ordered his generals to marry Persian princesses in mass weddings. A dream of East and West united, or tyranny dressed as harmony. His men murmured, "Has he forgotten us? Has he forgotten Greece?" He marched further east, into India. At Hydaspes, he faced King Porus and war elephants. The river was flooded, the enemy prepared. He crossed at night, attacked at dawn. Victory came, but at a cost. Porus, proud in defeat, said, "Treat me like a king." Alexander smiled and gave him his kingdom back. But at the Bees River, his army mutinied. They would go no further, not for glory, not even for him. For the first time in his life, Alexander turned back. Instead of sailing home, he crossed the Gedrosian desert. Sandstorms swallowed men whole, water vanished, thousands died. In Babylon, he began rebuilding, planning new campaigns, global unification, road networks, libraries, and world capital, cities. Then, Hephaestion, his closest friend, his other half, died. Alexander tore his clothes. He wept for days. He built funeral pyres the size of temples. The warrior was broken. 3 BCE. A banquet, a fever. For 12 days, Alexander burned with illness. His generals stood helpless. When asked who would rule, he whispered, "To the strongest." He died with no heir. His empire shattered. His generals, the Diadochi, divided the empire. Roxana and their son were murdered. The dream died, but his name lived. In Egypt, Alexandria. In Asia, coins, statues, cities. In Islam, Dulkarnain. In Persia, Iskandar. In India, a warrior god. In the West, the man who bent history. He never lost a battle. He changed 3 continents. He conquered land, hearts, and time. He was human, and yet, more than man, he was Alexander, the flame that refused to go out.